So there's no doubt that electric longboards have gotten popular, with everyone wanting a taste of that Neistat lifestyle. But let's be real, we're not Casey Neistat, and we're never going to be. So instead of the boosted board, let's take a look at one of its most popular alternatives, the Evolve Bamboo GT. So let's look at a board which offers something a bit different. It brings to the table range, power, and versatility. It seems to have the keys to stack up against the likes of boosted, but does it fall down in the details? Let's find out after this message from our sponsor.
Check this out, the Fantex P400S, which is one of the best mid-towers on the market, got a sexy upgrade now with a tempered glass side panel with a comfortable rubberized mount to show off your gorgeous system with an RGB LED strip included. Get your glass on with the Fantex P400S, plant not included.
To give context to this board, you need an idea of the market right now. Currently we've got boosted on top. They have very sleek and refined boards, their decks are manufactured by Loaded, and they start at around $1,200. Below them are smaller companies like Evolve. Evolve's a smaller Australian company, but they've got some competitively spec'd boards, outperforming boosted on paper across the board. Below these companies it gets murky. You have smaller manufacturers funding these boards on Kickstarter, often with delays that turn into years before products ship, and production issues seem to be the norm, something which isn't as much of an issue for manufacturers like Evolve and Boosted. Here we have the mid-range offering from Evolve. It's cheaper than the $2,000 Carbon, but also more expensive than the $1,000 Evolve 1. It's coming in at $1,450 with one set of wheels, or $1,650 for the 2-in-1 kit, which is what I have. One of the main downsides of an electric longboard is that it's a long board. This thing is massive, with a 38-inch maple and bamboo deck, and it's also really heavy. It's 8 kilos with the street wheels on it, or 9.5 kilos with the AT setup. But it makes sense with how much they pack in, with a massive 36-volt, 6.5 amp battery. But when the main advantage of an electric longboard versus a bike is that you can take it with you no matter where you are, you're not going to want to take this on the bus or to the supermarket. It's just simply too big, and you're going to want a smaller board. The good thing about having a massive board is that it can supply some massive power, with the 3000 watt motors on the board being able to get it up to 35 kilometers an hour with ease, and also climb up to 25% gradients with no power loss. You can also climb steeper gradients than that, still at very respectable speeds. The acceleration is also something not to be trifled with. If you accelerate too hard, even experienced riders are prone to be kicked off the board. It's impressively fast, and there's no complaints here. One of the more subjective points, but for me the aesthetics of the Evolve Bamboo GT leave something to be desired. The clear grip tape on it looks a bit tacky when you compare it to something like the boosted board, and overall the shape is fairly safe and the board's just a bit boring to look at, and the exposed motors just make it look unfinished. And when you've got the granted super fun AT wheels on it, the whole board just looks ridiculous. It would have been cool to see Evolve go for a more defined colour scheme and overall aesthetic. Alright, so this might seem a little obvious, but it's actually a big point about it. How fun is it? And the answer is, it's probably one of the most fun boards you can get. It goes fast with that 35 km/h speed, and the AT wheels are one of the big things that can make this stand out. Being able to ride it on grass or dirt is just so much fun, and the acceleration is nuts as well. The Bamboo GT is a complete powerhouse. It'll just chew through hills, and it'll get you to 35 km an hour with ease. The only thing though is that for this to happen it has to be pretty much fully charged, and that's because of voltage sag. Voltage sag is because Evolve's battery can only supply power quickly enough to certain cells, which means once they're depleted, it can't power the board enough. This means that in reality you're only getting something in the range of like 40% of the battery usable if you're riding fast. While it technically has a 35 km range on the street setup, you're going to notice that below 75% battery, you're not going to be able to go up hills at the same speed, and below 60% you're not going to be able to hit full speeds on flat. This is further reduced if you use the AT setup. This is a point that ties in with size, but it's something that comes up every time I want to use this board. It's just simply too big to carry. If you're wanting to go to the shops, to the movies, to see friends or whatever else, you're not going to really want to lug this around. It's not a very enticing prospect. And unlike a bike, you can't easily just lock it up. There's no way to lock this board up, which means you're going to have a safe place to store it. And if you're going to uni or to the shops, you can't really do that. So lugging it around really is the only option in a lot of cases. And this pretty much sums it up for me. The Evolve Bamboo GT feels like a hobbyist's dream project that's been shipped to consumers. It's powerful and impressive, but it's not complete. Whether it's the damn near awful remote with unintuitive profile switching and poor design, the acceleration curve which almost kicks new riders off the board, the dual belt motors that you have to manually adjust when switching wheels, the questionable dual kingpin trucks which are just a poor choice, or the sheer size and the looks of the board. And unless you're going to be using this purely for recreational use, where it is heaps of fun, you're going to be sorely disappointed by the lack of usability with the board. So there are my conclusions about the Evolve Bamboo GT. If you enjoyed videos on e-board content, then let me know in the comments below, I'd love to do more of it here. So, I'm Aidan with HardwareCanucks, make sure to subscribe for more similar content, and we'll see you in the next one.